Greetings and welcome to the first tutorial for System at War. In this tutorial we shall look at the race creation aspect of the game at the start. In front of us here we can see we have 3 player sheets. To the side we have 3 stat cards and their points available for purchasing at the start of the game. We have the rules and the costs. We also have the stats that are available in the example we are going to use. And we have a random selection of 9 race traits. There are 9 here because you have 3 times the number of players. And then finally, which is actually the first thing we're going to deal with, we have the race technologies. So each player gets their own one of these, which again is randomly selected. And this gives them some unique technologies from the other players. So I will randomly select 3 and put them on each player's sheet. So that is the first thing to do in the game. Okay, so each player now looks at those and it helps to think about what type of player they want to be. But they could just choose to completely ignore them if they want and focus on other things. So now the 3 players randomly assign who goes first. So we have player A, player B and player C. And that is the order that we are going to play in. The purchasing is split into 4 rounds. 6 points being made available in each of the 4 rounds. With those points, they can purchase stats to improve their race. Here are the cost of those stats in the rulebook. And they can also, 1 per round, they can purchase a race trait, which have the points at the top of them. But the more of these they've got and the later in the rounds that they purchase them, the cheaper they become. We shall see that in a minute. So first of all, we have player A. 6 points available, represented by these little cubes. He is going to have a look at what's available. There's lots of intel available. He quite likes having intel. And they're 3 points each. So he could just straightforward spend all 6 of his points and buy 2 intel. So we'll put 2 cubes there just to show that 2 of them have been bought, and we'll put 2 cubes on his actual player sheet, on his stat card over there, just to show that he's got 2 of them. Player 2 wants to do this a little bit differently. He looks at these and he thinks, well, I would like that 1 space combat, but it's 10 points. So I'm going to make sure that I save 4 of my points for round 2. So with 2 points, he will look over here. Are there any good of these available? Yes, he will pick up ambush tactics for 2 points. There we go. So he's got a nice little bonus now, where if he gets invaded, his troops on the ground can shoot before the enemy. So he puts that over there. Now that would actually get put on his race traits by there. Okay. Player 3. Right. Okay, well, he can see that space combat is going to go and he can't do anything about it. He thinks he'll try and grab one of the orders. So he'll save 2 of his points and he'll spend the other 4. He will purchase some diplomacy. They're 2 points each, so he'll buy 2 of them. So again, we've just done that, and he's got 2 left, as we can see. Okay, round 2. So player A got his next 6 points. He bought intel the first time round. Second time round, he will have a look over here. He will purchase a technology advancement. Now, you will notice that it's normally 4 points. However, in the rules, we see by here that in rounds 2 and 3, you reduce the cost by 1 point. So that costs him 3 points. And that will give him a technology at the start of the game, just to get a head start. With his other 3 points, he will purchase another one of those intels. So he's being heavily focused on technology. Player 2 now has 10 points available to spend, and he will spend all 10 of those on his space combat. And that's the only space combat point available in this game, because we randomly selected at the start, which I forgot to show you, one of the available sheets which you'll find at the back of the rulebook, and that's meant that we've just gone for that one, and then you just line it up with the number of players. But in this example, that was the only space combat available. Player C has 8 points available, and he wants to purchase an extra order. So that's all 8 points spent. Player A has 6 points available again. What should he get? Well, I think a mining would be a good one, because they are 4 points each and they give you a nice bonus with the amount of resources you get. 1 extra per planet. So that's 4 of his points gone. That leaves him with 2 points. So let's have another look over at the race traits. Now, he can only purchase one of these, but the Admiral is 4 points. However, because it's in round 3, it's 3 points. And because he's already purchased a race trait, it's another point cheaper. So it's only 2 points now. So he will spend his 2 points on purchasing an Admiral, which is very useful. Player B, 6 points available. What does player B want? He's got a space combat. He's got himself ambush tactics. Ooh, tough choice. He will go for... He will spend 4 of those points on a mining. So boost his resources. It also leaves him 2 to purchase the remaining order next round, which would be good. Player C, 6 points available again. He hasn't got any race traits yet. It's round 3, so they'd be 1 point cheaper, with a minimum of 1 point still. I think he will purchase production boost, so a nice little bonus as a single use at one time in the game. So 1 sector may double its resource value for a round, so his home planet, instead of having 6, would suddenly have 12 resources that round. That's quite useful. He'll purchase that for 1 point. Then he will spend 2 points on another diplomacy, and he will spend 3 points on an intel. So he spent 3 points on an intel, 2 on a diplomacy, and 1 on the production boost. Our final round now. Player A has 6 points available. He's good on intel and mining. Tell you what, if he's good on mining, he's going to have lots of resources. He might want extra build limit. So he will spend 2 points on engineering. That leaves him 4. He will then spend 3 points on another technology. So he's done really well on tech. That leaves him 1 point So he'll swing across here. Now, because it's round 4, they're 2 points cheaper. And he's already got 2, so effectively it's up to 4 points cheaper. So he can afford any of these apart from the initiative taker. And it's only going to cost him 1 point. So I think he will have the Art of Surprise. So that's a nice little tactical bonus. Fighters can always fire before the first round of combat during the anti-fighter barrage. So at the same time as that, he'd get to fire. So he's done. That's him completed. Look, he's got 3 race traits, and he's really boosted his intel. He's boosted mining and engineering. Player B has 8 points available, because 2 from the last round, so he will spend those 8 points on an order, and that's it. And then finally, player C has 6 points available. He will spend his 6 points on a diplomat for 1 point, another diplomacy for 2, so that takes him up to 3 points spent, and then he'll spend his last 3 points on an intel. So player C has a production boost for diplomat, 2 extra intel points, 4 on diplomacy, and 1 extra order. So I will now run through what you do with this. Basically, we now have to write in what each of these are for each player. So he has intel of 5 is the standard, and then 6, 7. So I'll just write 7 in by there. Ground combat and space combat, he hasn't altered, so they stay at 8. 8 is the number you need to hit when engaging in combat. Mining, well, he hasn't bought any bonuses on mining, so that's 0. Trade, he hasn't bought any extra trade, so you just get the 1 standard point of trade. Now, diplomacy is normally 10, which is the number you need to get a successful diplomatic action. However, he's bought 4, so he's brought that down to 6. So that's quite good now. So his diplomacy is not bad. Engineering, he hasn't bought any extras, so that just stays as 0. Borders and captains, well, his standard is 2. He's bought 1, so he's got 3. This process is then repeated for each player. Well, each player would have done it at the same time, written it all in. And any race traits and your little card, your trait, your card there is placed on your player sheet. And then each player is now ready to go.